Hey, Tom Rabbit! I hope you got this for your recording. Hey, YouTube out there. Tom Rabbit likes to record these. Hey, Tom Rabbit!
That's exactly what they said. I'm just
No,
confused.
okay, all right. You know what? We're going to have to end this because you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, what does the Catholic Church teach about how do you get to heaven?
Why you keep asking me a question?
Okay, goodbye. Okay, yeah, you're a phony. Get out of here. All right, you're done. You're done. You're gone. Okay. Yeah, this is somebody who has his mind made up about certain things about denominationalism, but he couldn't even tell me the fifth book in the New Testament, right? And when I point out to him the reason why there are denominational distinctives, and one of the significant reasons is apostasy, not entirely, but it plays a significant part, he doesn't care. All he's concerned about is what he believes. Oh, there's so many denominations. Well, therefore, we can't really, understand the Bible because there's all these denominations.
Yeah, he just added.
That was refuted, but he doesn't care. Welcome to the room, Dr. Andrew Meyer. What would you like to say?
That was refreshing. A lot of people on here like to talk, but they talk for no reason. I jumped into this. I didn't even know what you guys were talking about, but I could tell through your prosecution of what was happening there. You had a firm grasp of your point. The guy didn't even want to answer, and I know from experience, somebody doesn't even want to answer a question because they know that they're wrong. And that was great to hear. That was very enjoyable.
That's a part of it. Sometimes they don't want to answer because they are fearful of what the implications or ramifications will be from answering the question truthfully, right? Listen, I've been doing this for 12 years on the interweb, and I find these people who talk about worldviews, about religions, about Christianity, about atheism and all that. I find that many people they're just bluffing, right? And that's why I ask clear questions, because it brings out what they think and believe, and then we can examine it. And a lot of people they'll dodge. Okay.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen the room on this app? It's like Ask a Christian, and this chick Steph J is always hosting it.
Steph J is a puke. Okay, I have no respect for her. She throws me under the bus, and yet she and the other leadership in that room, they gloss over when atheists and unbelievers are behaving badly. But if a believer stands up for themselves, they kick him back to the audience. So I don't have any respect for her.
I knew you would say something like that. She's such a trollop. She's the worst, bro.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man. I'm a straight shooter. I don't pull any punches. I call it as I see it.
And that's what I respect about you, Darth. You just don't play no games. Like, it's just, wow.
But yeah, so Doctor, did you have a question, comment, things like that?
So
no, I didn't even.
What kind of a doctor are you?
I'm a Juris Doctor.
Okay, so you're a lawyer. Is that correct?
Give him a lawyer joke.
Are you a lawyer?
Yeah, sorry, I left the house. It switched from my router to my phone Wi-Fi, so I couldn't hear you.
So you have a doctorate in jurisprudence?
Correct.
Okay, so you're a lawyer. So I was told to give you a lawyer joke. You probably heard this one. What's the difference between skid marks in front of a dead lawyer in the road and skid marks in front of a chicken? Or excuse me. I botched the joke. What's the difference? What's the difference between a dead chicken and a dead lawyer in the road? The answer is there's skid marks in front of the chicken.
Skid marks, yeah, because they're not trying to hit the chicken. It's a good joke. You did botch it, but it's a good joke.
No. It's too bad because there are an enormous amount of really bad lawyers, but there's also good lawyers. So.
No, it's like 90% terrible. Lawyers are one of the most evil professions, like as a group. Yeah, I would say it's doctors, teachers, journalists, politicians, and then lawyers. So lawyers made the top 5.
Oh gosh, how'd you like that bimbo that they put on the Supreme Court, and she wants to sit in judgment over this nation as a Supreme Court jurist, and when she was asked what is a woman, she couldn't answer it.
She's a disgrace. She's a disgrace.
I mean, just what an abomination.
They should impeach every woman on the Supreme Court, every single one. No women on the Supreme Court. I went to law school, and every single woman lawyer is insane. They're all insane.
Now, tell us how you really feel.
There's no exceptions to that. There's not one single exception.
Well, I wouldn't agree with that, but that's fine. So, what is your worldview? Are you a theist? Are you an atheist? What?
I'm a Jew.
Enemy spotted.
Okay, so you believe in God. Do you have a Unitarian conception of God?
There's only one God, yeah.
Okay, so, but you see, Unitarian means God is one being and one person.
I think
Right.
I got that, yeah. I don't
Okay.
have any objections to that.
Okay, well, here's the problem. With the advent of Jesus Christ, claiming to be the second person of the Trinity, of the Godhead, Judaism went to embrace Unitarianism as opposed to Trinitarianism. But there are significant theological and philosophical problems with the Unitarian conception of God. Namely, God will therefore not have all great making properties. So in a Unitarian conception of God, as we have in contemporary Judaism, as well as in things like Islam and other Unitarian groups that profess to be Christian, God cannot be maximally personal in logically prior to creation, nor can God have attributes like love, because logically prior to creation, there's no object to love. Okay, you see the problem?
Not quite.
Okay, so a great making property is a property that we will say that God has, and he has it to its fullest. It's a property that's greater to have than not to have, and to have it to its maximum, okay? As opposed to he only has a little bit or part of that quality or attribute. So do you think in the Unitarian conception of God, right, God has the attribute of love and has it to the fullest? Logically, yes. Prior to creation. Okay.
Yes.
Now, the maximizing of the quality of love includes being other oriented. Okay, but there's no one for God in a Unitarian conception to love.
Well, in my understanding, and this is the creation of the world story that I first heard that made sense to me. There was only God in the infinite world, and God created the vessel. The vessel is all souls, all of us. And God poured his unending love into the vessel. And
okay. Do you believe that anything else is eternal besides God?
No.
Okay. So logically prior to creation, there was just God.
Yep.
So God being a personal being, which you would believe as a Unitarian, and I would believe as a Trinitarian, there's no one for God to actualize relationality, which is an aspect of personhood. That's why in the second chapter of Genesis, after God created Adam, he said, "It is not good that man should be alone." So he finished making Adam. But he now said Adam was in a not good state. But then when you look at the end of chapter 1, after God had made Eve, it said that God looked upon all that he had made and declared that it was good. So Adam went from being in a not good state to a state of being good. So what changed? Well, the answer is the introduction of another person where Adam could actualize the relationality aspect of being a person. Okay? I'm sure you would agree with that, right?
It sounds logical.
Okay. So if we say that God is a personal being and he has all great making properties that is better to have than not to have, well, as a person, he doesn't have the capacity, or he doesn't actualize, I should say, that more accurate way of putting it, he doesn't actualize relationality at all. He would have to create other persons or agents in order to actualize relationality, which is integral to being a person. See the problem?
that there's
God
no
would
one.
God would not possess personhood to its fullest. He would be incomplete in terms of a being that is personal, because he has no ability to be actualize relationality. Now, as a lawyer, you know that absolute solitary confinement is prohibited by a Supreme Court ruling, right?
No, I didn't know that. I'm not much of a lawyer. I only put the doctor there to trigger the people on here that are upset about the vaccine not being accepted by people. So no, I'm not
Okay.
aware of that ruling. I believe
But
you,
but you're not a lawyer. You're a lawyer, aren't you?
I don't practice. I just have the degree.
Oh, okay. All right. So in American jurisprudence, it's unconstitutional to put somebody in absolute solitary confinement, right? Because it's considered cruel and unusual punishment. Because what is integral to being a person is the aspect of relationality, right? That's why individuals who purposely and consciously decide to isolate themselves from all other human contact and relationality are deemed by the rest of us as being abnormal. Okay? Now, so being a person includes the aspect of relationality, but the Unitarian conception of God is not maximally personal, nor can he be given the characteristic designation of possessing love. How does God love in eternity past? But you see, with the advent of Jesus Christ and the revelation that God is one God, one being, but within that unity there is a plurality of co-equal persons. Each of the persons is fully relational with the other two logically prior to creation, and each of the persons of the Trinity love the other two logically prior to creation. So in the Trinitarian concept of God, we have a God who is not deficient in terms of great making properties. Okay? So if one wants to
I understand the argument now.
So if one wants to continue to believe in the Unitarian conception of God, that it is true, then one has to realize that you're believing in a concept where God doesn't have all great making properties. He's deficient in terms of being a person. He's deficient in terms of being loving or possessing the attribute of love.
I'm going to agree to disagree, but I understand your point now.
Well, is there a rebuttal?
Yeah, it would be boring, but I can do it if you want.
Sure.
I think that God can still possess the capacity to love even before he created all of us, before he created the vessel. And I think
Notice what you said. You said capacity. There's no there's no actualizing of love.
He could love himself. I mean, God is unknowable.
Really? Is that the route we want to go? Is that the route we want to go?
God is way above our understanding. Like
No.
questions like who created God?
So that's special pleading right there. Okay, what you just did is special pleading. Okay, the issue is, where does it say that God loves himself? Where'd you get that from?
I didn't get that from anywhere. We're talking rhetoric here.
Well, wait a minute. If you are going to ascribe a quality or an attribute from God, either it's going to be some self-disclosure of God, or it's going to be the product of your vivid imagination. So
if I'm alone on an island, I can still love myself. I mean, I don't take the point. I understand
where do the scriptures say that God loves himself?
Well, I'm sure God doesn't hate himself.
Okay, that's a false dichotomy, sir. Now, to love is not just simply to have affection, right? The highest aspect of love is being other oriented. Would you agree with that?
I don't know.
Okay, Jesus himself said, no greater love can a man have than he give up his life for his friend. And this was an example. Okay,
Your quote
this
was
is
man. No greater love can a man have. God's not a man.
That's not that, but you're missing the point. What he's talking about is there are different ways to denote love, but the highest aspect of love, the
For a man.
greatest example of love, is not romantic feelings
Yeah.
or the concept of brotherly love or camaraderie that soldiers have for each other. The highest actualizing of love is being other-oriented and self-sacrificial. Okay?
Okay.
Right? So if a mother were to act in a way to try to preserve her child's life and she ends up dying, we can say that this was a supreme act of love. Okay? It's a supreme act of other-orientedness. Okay? So love in its highest form, in its pristine form, is characterized by being other-oriented. So God cannot possess the attribute of love in its highest form if he's Unitarian.
I disagree.
Okay, so does God possess love in its highest form of being other-oriented logically prior to creation?
But God did create all of us.
No, you're not focusing, okay? Did God possess the highest form of
prior
love?
to creation? Prior to creation, it's
Logically
unknowable.
prior.
That's like asking.
No,
Listen,
sir.
you're not giving me. You're not giving me a chance to talk. You're
I am,
talking,
but
and you're not. No, you're not.
okay. Answer the question.
Okay, restate the question. I'll answer it.
How does God have the highest form of love, which is other-oriented? Who was the others that were there logically prior to creation?
I don't know, and my answer, my full answer, is that it is unknowable. That's like
Really?
asking.
So here's the
Yes.
problem.
I can't answer more than 4 seconds. Give me more than 4
No,
seconds, Darth.
if you say I don't know, you actually
I
think
can't get more than
there's a
4 seconds. Can't get more than
listen.
4 seconds.
Do you think it's possible there was another
Can't get more
person
than
in
4
addition to
seconds.
God logically prior to creation?
I don't do this when I do it. 4 seconds is not enough time to answer.
No, I'm just showing you.
No, you're not.
You have a
You're creating a tight
conception.
window in which I can't talk. I don't like that.
No, you said God can have the highest form of love, and when I said was there somebody other person to love, and you go, well, I don't know. So you're leaving open the possibility that there was another persona logically prior to creation.
No, there's no one else before creation. There's only one
So
God. My
so
point is,
God
you're
can't.
not letting
So
me
God
talk.
can't. Let me
Let
just
me
say one more
talk.
thing. I'll let you talk in a
Jesus
second.
Christ, let me talk.
So God cannot actualize love in its highest form, can he?
You're wrong.
Good. How did he actualize it logically prior to creation?
This is how God shows love. Okay, He created all of us, knowing that
What
we
was
would
my
sin.
question?
Knowing, I can't even answer. You're
No,
so on a track. I can't
no. I
answer.
asked you a
And,
question. You're
yeah,
dodging.
I understand your question. I
I
understand the
said,
box that you're trying to
okay.
create.
What
I
was
think
the
it's a
question I
false. I
asked
think
you?
it's a
What was the
who
question
could
I asked
God
you?
possibly love? Who could God love prior to
How
the
did
creation of
God?
man?
No.
How
Okay.
could God actualize His love for other
Yeah.
people before He created men? I understand your conception.
Yeah.
You're not letting
How
me
does that
talk.
work? Good. Answer that.
I don't know who created God. Okay, that's unknowable. I don't
I didn't
know
ask you
how
that.
God expressed His infinite love before He created the creation. That's unknowable. Because who created God, Darth? Answer me that. Who created God?
That's a category error.
You didn't answer the question. Who created God?
I answered your question. It's a
No, you
category
didn't.
error.
Who created God?
Okay. It's a category error.
Nah, you're not answering.
Okay.
God is
The reason why it's a category error is because God, by definition, is uncreated. Okay.
Okay.
So
All right.
you're
So
asking it. Okay.
you don't know what was before God. You don't
Okay.
know who created God. These are unknowable things.
Doctor, what does blue taste like? How much does pink weigh? Answer the question. It's a malformed question. It's a category error.
No, just because you're asking an unanswerable question doesn't mean that what I'm saying is incorrect.
Very simple question. Logically, prior to creation, was there just God?
Yes.
Okay, so then there was no other persona extant for God to love logically prior to creation.
He can love himself?
No, sir, because that's not the highest form of love. The highest form of love, okay, there's
even the quote that you gave is for a man. The highest form of love for a man. God is not a man. So no.
Listen, do you agree that the greatest actualizing of love is to be other-oriented?
For a man, yes, which is exactly what you quoted me as Jesus said.
Sir, I didn't ask you that
exactly what you
question.
said.
I didn't ask you that question. I said, do you believe that the highest quality of love for any being that would possess personhood, that it is to be other-oriented? Because if they cannot be other-oriented because there are no others, then they cannot actualize love in its highest form.
No,
Okay?
God's not a man, so obviously there has to be some other.
I didn't say a man. I said
No, I'm giving you a
a
complete
persona.
sentence. No.
I said a persona. Okay?
No. Answer is no.
No. Here's the problem. Your God cannot be loving in its highest form logically prior to creation.
Disagree.
No. Can he actualize being other-oriented?
Yes, he created us.
No. Okay. You're not. Okay. For somebody who's trained in a law school, it's shocking that you have such a lack of focus on what I'm saying to you. Okay.
No,
because the answer that you gave me, the answer that you gave is not germane to my question. I said logically prior to creation.
You are giving me an
listen
and malformed.
Okay, no, it is not malformed.
I'm happy to listen and not interrupt, but when I was trying to talk, you gave me about 4 seconds at a time.
Doctor,
I'll do the same thing.
When you answered my question, okay, you were answering a question I didn't ask. I didn't ask you about.
Yeah, your question was malformed and limited. It was a limited question.
It's not malformed.
It was missing a greater picture. It was limited.
Listen to me. If I say, now you're being like a trained lawyer here. You're lying. It wasn't malformed.
That's
okay?
not.
If I say to you, please don't overtalk me. If you say,
don't overtalk.
All right.
Overtalking's not fun.
Right, okay, you're gone. Okay. So this is what happens when people get cornered by the incoherency of their major beliefs, right? And they know that there's no way to extradite themselves. They go full-blown ADD 14-year-old that didn't take their Ritalin. Okay?
Yeah, Doc, and I wanted to add, it sounds like it was getting to God is like, because I was thinking about the cosmological argument, then that means God must have.
You'll notice I said to him, how did God actualize love in its highest form logically prior to creation? And then he started talking about when after creation. But my question wasn't directed at that.
Yeah,
and he knew it. Did you catch that, Tom Rabbit? Hope you upload that to YouTube.